Hello, my name is Flores, and today I will be discussing the 2 points of views of buying a dog from a shelter as well as buying a dog from a breeder. Some of the points I will be discussing is the pros and the cons, as well as the different laws that go into them. I'll also be discussing what the two differences are, because either way you're still getting a dog, but what is it that makes it so special about getting from a shelter and buying from a breeder? So, I'll start off with buying from a breeder. So when you buy from a breeder, you're buying a dog from a very long line of family history, meaning that you know where the family has been, who the parents are, what kind of health issues they have, as well as what kind of dogs they are and what kind of temperament they could be. Now, when you buy from a breeder, you're buying from somebody who's breeding dogs either through their home, well, mostly from their home, and selling them to either pet stores or out of their own home just to get some revenue. Now, so what does that mean to adopt from a shelter? I'll go ahead and tell you. So adopting from a shelter is very different from a breeder. Usually when you buy a dog from a shelter, they've come from a place of neglect, they're found off the streets, they're looking for a second home, or maybe they had a loved one that passed away and they have nobody else to take care of them. Usually some will stay for days, weeks, months, or even years in the shelter, waiting to get a home. Now, according to some research by the Humane Society of Central Texas, only 10% of animals are neutered, meaning that when a dog comes into a shelter, they're not able to breed any more puppies. So sometimes when they come to a shelter, they're able to have puppies, which is why you always see shelters saying that, they litter puppies, mom is expecting, puppies are on the way, and of course those are the ones that always get adopted, being that they are babies and everybody loves a baby. Whereas a lot of the older dogs and bigger dogs usually take a little bit longer to get adopted, especially senior dogs. Right now in Texas, there are 3,900,000 dogs waiting in shelters to find their forever home. So, this leads me to my next topic. I'll be discussing about the different laws that are enforced on shelters in order to ensure the utmost care for these dogs. So, first off, these shelters must meet a certain requirement in order to obtain a shelter licensing, meaning that they're able to sell dogs, take care of them until they're able to find their home. Now, some of the things that are required is that veterinarians must always be on hand, no matter what, meaning that they're there to take care of any kind of illness, or as well as any kind of injury that may have happened, whether it's in the shelter or outside of the shelter. These dogs are always going to have the utmost care. Now, when these dogs are sick, it is mandatory that they be quarantined, being that they don't get any other dogs sick. And this is according to the lawjustia.com, page 15. Now, the Executive Commissioner of the Health and Human Service Commission may require each person operating an animal shelter to keep records of the date and disposition of animals in the custody, meaning that they know when the dog came in, what kind of medical things were done to them, as well as what kind of behavior or temperament they may have. So, this leads me on to my next topic of the laws that are enforced on breeders in Texas. Now, breeders have a little bit of more laws that they must follow, being that they are not standard by the U.S. government or by the state. So they have to follow the same rules in the shelter with making sure that each dog is cared for with the utmost care. Now, the APA reports that 34% of dogs are purchased from breeders, while 23% of dogs are obtained from animal shelters in the Humane Society. So this means that more dogs are being picked up from breeders rather than shelters. So, what does it exactly mean to be a breeder? So what this breeder does is they sell or exchange dogs. They are able to take back any dog that somebody might not want anymore, whether they're sick or they're unable to take care of them. So, in order to get a license, they must go through Texas to legally breed dogs. These laws are to make sure that the animals are being bred to have proper veterinary care. These animals must have the best living conditions as well as ample space to move around and live comfortably. Now think about it. When you have a mom and she just had babies, you don't want to be cramped up in a small little space or a little cage. You want the mom to be able to move around, get her exercise. That way she's able to take care of her puppies and produce healthy, happy puppies that can be sold to people and, of course, make other people happy. Now, documentation is also proof. So meaning that whenever you go to a breeder, you can always ask for any kind of documentation as to What has this dog been through? What kind of shots have they been through? What is the family history? As well as many other factors. Now, breeders are also to be inspected when they breed their dogs beforehand of receiving a license stated by Texas. This is according to Texas law, Chapter C of the Licensing of Breeding with a Dog. Focus on the positivity of adopting a dog or buying from a breeder. Now, the best thing about adopting a dog is giving this dog a second chance at life. These dogs sit and wait for days, months, or even years to find their forever home. It is the best satisfaction to know that you got to save a life, knowing that you gave them a second chance, knowing that you can give them a happy, safe, healthy home. Another great thing about adopting a dog from a shelter is that even some shelters offer free adoptions, so that more dogs can go into homes. Now, it is a great satisfaction knowing to bring a dog home and seeing their happy face. So, let's talk about the positives of getting from a breeder. So when you buy from a breeder, you are always ensured that you are getting yourself into, meaning that you are getting from a reputable dealer, you know where the dog is coming from, you know their family history, as well as their medical history. Now, according to the AKC, the American Kennel Club, states that a good breeder makes sure that when they raise their puppy, they're socializing, they give them lots of attention, which is, of course, like any baby needs. So, a good breeder always ensures that when you're getting a dog from them, you are getting a puppy that has the utmost care, has the utmost family history, meaning that you know where the puppy has come from, what kind of medical history has been associated, as well as knowing what this puppy is going to be like later on in life, knowing their behavior. In conclusion, I want to say that when it comes to getting a dog, it really depends on your personal preference, because either way, you're taking home a dog that means a loving home, and you're making a difference in their life. Knowing that they'll have you means that much joy to them, meaning that they'll bring that much joy to you. So, I'd like to end off with this quote by Josh Billings. In the whole history of the world, there is but one thing that money cannot buy: the wit, the wag to a dog's tail. Thank you.